What if the way you've been telling your life story reveals the secret to what is holding you back? Stories play an integral part in how we see not only ourselves, but the whole world. Stories are more than just an important part of communication. They also reveal hidden aspects of our inner talk, which can either support us or end up holding us back from the very things we want most in life, without us even realizing it. Join author, mindset coach, and award-winning singer-songwriter Carrie Rowan on her show, Look for the Good, every Monday at 5 a.m. and 5 p.m. when she shares nuggets of wisdom from her internationally best-selling book, Tell a New Story, 5 Simple Steps to Release Your Negative Stories and Bring Joy to Your Life. Carrie's powerful stories and compelling guests will empower you to change how you look at your own life while giving you some powerful tools and tips you can use every day to help you feel better and move yourself closer to the life you've been longing to live.
Hello, and welcome to Look for the Good. I'm Carrie Rowan, host of Look for the Good, and we're here today on syndicated Dreamvisions7Radio Network every Monday at 5 a.m. and 5 p.m. Listen online on your mobile device, in your car, or ask Alexa to play Dreamvision7 Radio. To learn more and for a full schedule, go to dreamvision7radio.com. And welcome, everybody. Welcome back. It's so exciting. We are here on Zoom today, which is different and super exciting for everyone. And I just want to give a little highlight of what we do here on the show. We're talking about some morsels of my book and Tell a New Story. And it's 5 simple steps to release your negative stories and bring more joy to your life, because that, my friends, is why we are here. And I'm so excited. I have an incredible special guest today. But before I introduce her to you, we're going to talk a little bit about manifestation. And I really love this topic, as you know, and if you've read my book, you know that I love manifestation and law of attraction. And it's also interrelated. And if you have a copy of my book, you can see on the back that I actually have a really cool testimonial by my friend Bryna Haynes. And she's actually publishing books now she's the CEO of World Changers Media. And she said about my book, our stories are not just memories or archives, but they're attraction in action. Don't you love that? And that is what we're going to talk about, because my guest, Sherianna Boyle, is just put out a new book, and it's all about that very thing, manifestation. And let me tell you a little bit about her before I bring her on. She's the founder of Emotional Detox Coaching, creator of the Cleanse Method, and she's an author of 10 books, incredible, and host of Just Ask Spirit and radio podcast on Dreamvision7 Radio as well. So welcome, Sherianna. I'm so excited to have you here with us today.
Oh, thank you so much, Carrie. It's so much fun. Fun to be on someone else's show for a chance.
Isn't it nice? You know, there's a certain level of relaxation that happens when you're not running the show.
Exactly. That's what I'm experiencing right now, for sure. Just kind of chilling.
I love that. I love that. And so what's really cool, and what I love, is about the synchronicities between our work. And your new book, we're going to talk a lot about your new book today, which is Energy in Action. And congratulations. I know personally how much work it is to put out a new book. So congratulations. It's like it's like your baby, right? And so what's really cool is I have also listened to Sherianna's other book, and the Emotional Detox I've listened to twice now on Audible, because I found it so powerful and just so engaging. And it really spoke to me about being able to release things. You know, I like to talk about releasing your negative stories, which really are our stories, really are our emotions, right? Hidden inside those stories are our emotions, our hangups, our limiting beliefs. And so when we clear that, we're also clearing our emotions. And I love the simple process that your work offers to people, because I feel like emotions are really something that people get stuck in a lot. Don't you agree?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. I mean, emotional detox definitely has been sort of the springboard for energy in action, and the emotions. So an emotional detox is based on the belief that we actually don't get rid of emotions, we get rid of reactions. So that's the one of the principles that book is based on, that all our emotions are good so long as we process them. And it is our reactions, which, if we go back and forth between your book and my book, it's the stories, right? Because a lot of those stories are reactions that can interfere with the emotional processing. And so I was been teaching from that book, and thank you for listening to it. Thank you for loving it. It's that book is unique because it just kind of organically created itself. I never really had a plan for that book. So it was literally me going through an emotional detox
Wow.
myself. Yeah. And letting it come through me and then documenting it and then eventually teach it, sharing it with other people and seeing how this shift, I know you talk a lot about mindset shifts, was helping people. So it was the only book that kind of worked that way out of all the 10 books. And then Energy in Action kind of takes it a step further. And that book is about, okay, now we have a sense of understanding how to process our emotions. Now let's talk about holding energy, because Energy in Action is about how do you hold yourself in these higher vibrational states so that you're not always flip-flopping back and forth.
I love that. I think that's really powerful. And I was going to say, let's talk a little bit about what energy in action is. And I think that's such a great way to describe it because, one of the things about doing this work that I'm sure you find is that as you keep going, you're like, why am I not getting this? Why am I just not maintaining this? Right. And like, we need reminders every single day. If you come into my office, you're going to see sticky notes. I still need reminders. You probably do too. Right. And even though we've done this work for, so long, we still need every day to find a way. And that's what I teach people as well. You need a process. You need something that you get up out of bed every morning and do as a ritual every day. Otherwise, it's really hard to maintain that.
Oh, I couldn't agree more, Carrie. You really do. And what I was finding was that people were loving the cleanse. So the way that it works with emotional detox is there's the framework, the principles that it's based on, right? All your emotions are good so long as they're processed. And then the cleanse is the 7-step acronym for how to process. And so cleanse is also an energy in action.
Mm-hmm.
And only this one is now teaching you how to hold that energy, because you like you said, everybody does, even people who are writing about it or teaching about it find themselves in those moments where we're in, nervous or uncertainty. I mean, let's face it, Carrie, there's like a gajillion influences on us, right? I mean, you talk about in a day, what you were exposed to when it comes to media and social media and all of these things, they affect us. I mean, we that's just everybody feeling like, oh my gosh, and so energy in action is about really looking, okay, well, how can I sustain that? How can I hold the energy? And actually, the answers that I discovered for that came from the spiritual laws. So the book is based on the ancient teachings, which you mentioned a few moments ago, the law of attraction, right? And I went to the laws. A lot of people go to laws for different reasons. Some of them say, okay, well, teach me how to manifest. And this is a book about manifesting. I really went there because I wanted to know more about holding that vibration. And when I looked at the spiritual laws, I learned, oh my gosh, they are totally a system for teaching us how to keep our energy in action. And so, like you said, I use them as a guidance system. So now my spiritual practice looks like I sit down and I still do my emotional cleanse. That's still part of the same framework. But what I also do is I ask my higher guidance and spirit, what law would be good for me to focus on today? Where do I feel a little off? And which one ought I dive into a little bit? So it's kind of like a little reference kind of thing. And then I have a few ways that I teach people how to receive that guidance. It could be just you opening up the book, seeing where you land, which law you land on. And then there you're going to get some information about the law. You're going to get some messages about the law, and you're going to get cleanses that help you attune to higher vibrations. So I'm sorry if I'm talking too much, Carrie. Going
You're
on and
not
on
at all. This is fascinating. I love to dive
here.
into it
Oh,
because you're
good.
giving people real things, and real concrete things that they can do to try to maintain that vibration.
Yeah.
Because I'm not the only one who has that huge question that you've addressed in this book is
Yeah.
how do you maintain it?
Well, again, what I did was I looked at, so I've been teaching yoga for about 20 years. So I've been
Mhm.
really into, and I'm also a professor of yoga at a college. So I've always held myself to a little bit higher standards in terms of what am I teaching, really helping the students to learn, where does this all come from, these teachings? And the spiritual laws, they come from thousands and thousands of years ago, ancient civilization that brought these teachings about, really it's about knowing. It's about uh, the inner knowing. It's about consciousness. It's about supreme consciousness. And so this information was delivered to us. A lot of it you see sprinkled into many, many, many different offerings out there. And what they do is they kind of teach us how to stay on track, Carrie, because we have those moments of uncertainty or trepidation or fear. And again, I say, kind of lean into the laws, ask your higher guidance. Okay, where is it that I could benefit? And then lean into the cleanses. And then what I did with the cleanses is I took another ancient technology, which I don't think anyone's ever done before. I have never seen it. And I paired every single law with ancient technologies that also have been around for thousands and thousands of years, and that is a ray of light. So every single law is paired with a ray of light. I explain what they are, how they work, also the teachings within there. So you're going to get a lot of information in terms of your understanding. And again, the key that these ancient sages taught us is that the knowing is where you're going to feel the sustaining. So as you increase your sense of inner knowing, it does bring a calmness over you. It brings it stabilizes you. It helps you to be in alignment. And it's simple to do. And I really did the best I could to really make it these ancient techniques. And how do we apply them to daily life?
And I love that because they're ancient, they've been around. And the overlying thing and a theme that I'm hearing and what you're saying is that can alleviate the stress and the anxiety, which is what I teach people as well, is that trust, right? You're talking about trust. You're talking about trusting things that have been around for decades, hundreds and thousands of years. They've been around for as long as mankind has existed, and you can trust that, and you can trust yourself. And I believe that that is really where we get that sense of calm, that wave of calm that can live inside of us, knowing that everything's going to be okay.
Absolutely. You got it, Carrie. It is about trust. And I think there's been a lot of broken trust for a while. And you and I have witnessed this, and the audience is probably feeling that as well even in terms of religion. There's a lot of people who have been turned off or just uncertain or just heading in a whole different direction. And what I want to say to people is that the rays of light are aspects of God consciousness, right? The God of your understanding. So they're like God-like qualities. And so as you bring these into your life, you are going to feel different, right? You're going to become more resilient. And so absolutely building that trust back up, I think, is essential right now in our world, because people don't trust. They don't trust their government. They don't trust their people around them. I mean, especially after the pandemic, there's just people don't trust the media, right? And
Absolutely.
and without trust, as you know, it's hard to grow. It's hard to feel safe. It's hard to thrive. And so my practice is, and what I teach and what I offer to my clients is really diving in, and I'm finding it's really helping people.
That is beautiful. And that's what we do it for, right? It's an act of service, putting out a book to others so that you can inspire them to change their lives and live the way they want to live. And I love what you're saying, because I talk about this too in my book, and I love the internal feng shuiing that you're doing. You're really teaching people. We're so focused externally. We got the phones, we got the computers, we got we're being called, our attention's being grabbed all over, right? So when we can learn to stop and take that time to focus internally and stop looking for things outside of ourselves to fix whatever it is that's bothering us, whether that's anxiety or stress, because Lord knows there's a lot of that around lately. So when we can turn that focus internally and really start to feng shui the inside of our minds to incorporate things like this that we can trust and turn inward, so that we can learn to trust ourselves instead of looking for things outside of ourselves to trust, because that's kind of shaky ground, right?
Absolutely. Absolutely. And the thing that came through with all of these teachings and really the key points of energy in action is it's time to redefine action. And so what I say is you have to really ask yourself, is this an action or is this a reaction? And that comes also from my work in emotional detox. And I believe that most of what we're calling action is actually a reaction when we're in that sense of doing, working, and we just go, 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 and we overthink, and we're constantly strategizing and analyzing and problem solving and all of that. We have this illusion that that is action. I have to constantly be doing something, when it's quite the opposite. And the ancient sages shared that with us. That is not action, right? That does not expand your consciousness and your energy. Action is more creative. It has a creative quality. It has a wisdom about it. It has a flow about it. And so what these laws do, and what the practices do, is really to teach you how to manifest without the constant goal setting, Carrie. I mean, I get it. I have, some goals, of course, that I set for myself. It's not that goes away, but I'm myself am learning to trust these practices, because a lot of us put in these spiritual practices and then we continue to do the same thing.
It's so
Right?
true. Right. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Look for the Good. I'm here with author Sherianna Boyle, and we're talking about her new book. And I can't wait to tell you guys a little bit more. We're talking about energy in action. She was explaining the title of the book. And now we're going to talk a little bit more about that tricky little subject of non-attachment.
Yes, yes. So in the book, I talk about the law of detachment. So there's actually a spiritual law of detachment. And it is a tricky thing, this idea that what you attach to, we know this creates suffering, right? It creates pain. And a lot of the way that happens, which I'm sure, you cover in your book as well, is expectations, right? And pressure. And I was talking about the pressure that I was formerly feeling about my daughter, the pressure of having all that on your shoulders, the expectations, like you say, the stories that come with that. So the law of detachment is really going to help us get through that and help us get aligned with what that means, so our rhythm can be in flow. And what's nice about the laws, what I discovered about them, is I treat them like chakras. So if you're familiar with chakras, they're the energy centers in the body. And I have lots of, I'm in the middle of developing I'll probably be out by the time this is aired, the energy in action course.
Mm-hmm.
So in that course, I have even more information about the laws and practices, just to go deeper. And so in terms of the law of detachment, you say, well, how do we do that? Well, in the book, there's a specific cleanse, a practice around surrender, which the practice of surrender, which the way that I teach people, I'm really getting good at it, and people are becoming more open to it and kind of understanding. And again, these are somewhat abstract concepts, but as your energy goes up, they won't be anymore. So the reason why we flip-flop right? Back to the beginning of our discussion. It's kind of like if you go to a yoga class and you're like, gosh, I feel great. And then all of a sudden, like you get a phone call or you go home and all of a sudden it's fading.
Mhm.
all that mojo starts to
Oh,
fade
goodness.
and you get tense and your family's like, thought you just went to yoga, you know?
That's a great
Right.
example.
And so this is about how to keep your energy and action and remembering everyone that we are spiritual beings first, right? And that the physical, attachment is always like looking to the outside. When I have this, and this in order, then I'm going to be happy. Then my marriage will be better. My life will be more fluid. My health. So these laws and practices are all about going inside. It doesn't happen on the outside. And so, so much of what we see is just not real, Carrie, and I think it's kind of like illusion. We see these images and people but now it's starting to show, right? You're starting to see even like celebrities with a lot of money and you're like, this one's not doing well. And this one's marriage is falling apart. And we're starting to realize, did we put them up on a little bit of a pedestal, right? I mean, maybe they're talented and we enjoy their music or their artistic abilities, and that's wonderful. But we also, again, that whole hierarchy thing, it's important to take it down off the pedestal, because when we talk about the universe and all this vibration, we are all one. There is no hierarchy. There is no better. And so as soon as you realize that and you really start to align with it, everything improves and you stop competing and right with each other and you stop rushing everything and starting to listen and go in.
And I love that. And in my book, and this is a yoga phrase, and in my book, I use the yoga phrase, be where your feet are. You can ask my kids. I say that to them all the time, because we're always so in our heads, like you're talking about, we're on the next step. We're rushing through it. We're not really present in the moment, which is this whole movement of mindfulness, right? And so being where your feet are, what does that mean? Well, it's grounded in this moment, because there really is nothing wrong in this moment. And everything else that we think is going on around us is, like you're saying, just the illusion, right? And I love all the Course of Miracle work on that as well.
Absolutely. Yeah. I love the Course in Miracles. Yeah.
Love that. And so bringing all that together and stopping for a moment to go inside, because everything we need is already inside of us, right? And it's just recognizing that and taking the time out of our busyness to get to that moment. I love everything you're saying.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. Yeah. And the last, point I want to make with this book, that is one of the foundations, similar to Emotional Detox. I really needed a foundation, and some of what I was hearing out there wasn't doing it for me in terms of manifesting. And the foundation that this book is built on is light. So instead of getting rid of the dark, focus on the light, and remember that manifesting, what I take from all of this, and I'm still being a student of all of this. This is going to be a lifelong journey for me. That's why I'm doing the course, because I'm still learning so much. Is that I believe that manifesting was never meant for the me, it was meant for the we.
I love that.
So in terms of when your manifesting practice is about helping everyone. So if you, Carrie, are, struggling with something, and I choose to, and I'm working through something, I want to make sure that I include anybody in my practice. And yoga does this a lot. There's a lot of mantras and terms of really, it's like an offering of, may all beings everywhere be happy and free. That's one of the mantras, but really making that part of the foundation, not just the closure, right?
Yes, I love
and
that.
starting to live that. So the practices of the cleanse and energy and action, you're going to find are different, because I made sure, because I really believe that the patterns on the planet that everyone's experiencing need to be transformed from that level. So as we bring it down to Mother Earth, may everybody be free of this, including plants, including animals, and really bringing that energy down so that if somebody isn't aware and conscious, maybe they're in trauma or something, that they too can receive these vibrations.
I love that. And you really, the whole theme of it is focusing on the light. And I love how you said that, as opposed to what we sometimes do with our emotions too, is to push them away and just pretend that they're not there, or push them down, or numb ourselves out. And so when we're focusing on the light, the darkness, it's like flipping the switch in a room. When you walk in, the darkness just goes away. It's just how it is with light. And it really reminds me of the title of my show, is Looking for the Good, right? You're looking for the light. You're focusing on the light. It's all the same theme of harmony. And I know that everybody is so intrigued by your amazing new book, Energy in Action. Tell them a little bit, where can they find your book? Where can they find out more about you in these amazing classes?
Sure. So you can go to sheriannaboyle.com. That's my website, and you'll find the book there. You'll find the classes there, and everything else that you need. I even have a bookmark they can download.
Oh, I love bookmarks.
Yeah. And I'll mail you one. So if you'd like one that's in color, I have many that I have printed up. So you just have to fill in the information there, and I will mail you a signed bookmark. So
I love that. A signed bookmark. That's so cute.
It's like $1.97, folks. So I cover a little bit there, but I will sign it and mail you a bookmark for your book.
I love that, everybody. So go to our website, get the book. You can get it in pre-release, which is a great time to order a book, and then have it show up. And you can also, it's going to be on Audible as well.
Oh yes, I read it.
Yay, you read it this time.
That was another manifestation. Yeah, that was like an unexpected bonus.
That's powerful. I love hearing the author's voice, because, when we read our own books, nobody can really understand and describe what we're talking about with the feelings that we have about what we wrote. So I'm so glad you did that. That's fantastic. Congratulations. Your work is amazing. It's really transformed me. I really love it. And it's something that's real and tangible, everybody. You can get your hands on it. You can do these exercises and this release in the morning, and it's super powerful. The cleanse method is really, really brilliant, and it's simple and easy to use. So if you want to feel better, go and visit her site, get her stuff, sheriannaboyle.com. That's Sherry with one R. As opposed to Carrie with 2 R's. So I think you can find it anyways. Or get on the Dreamvision7 Network Radio.com, and you can find all of our information there. And remember, she also has a podcast as well, Just Ask Spirit. So find out more about that. And thank you so much for joining us today. This was fabulous. I loved hearing from you. And we'll have you on again, because I feel like there's so much more great conversation here between us. And so stay tuned, everybody, for the next edition. And Sherry's going to be here with you in April, and run over and grab a copy of her book, and you'll be so happy that you did. And I love her signed bookmark, so get that as well. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in to Look for the Good, and take care. Be well. And remember, it's never too late to live your best story.
Thanks for tuning in to Look for the Good with your host, Carrie Rowan, best-selling author and mindset coach. Join us every Monday at 5 a.m. and 5 p.m. right here at Dreamvision7 Radio Network. If you weren't able to catch an episode, no worries. Just visit our website to find all the archived episodes of Look for the Good on demand, so you don't miss a thing. And remember, it's never too late to live your best story. For additional resources, or to find out about how you can work with Carrie directly, visit carrierowan.com for more details.